my name is Kylie. This is Benisa, and the blue is Nolan, and the one who's next to me is Matt. And we are doing our presentation on Hoodoo Brewery that's here in Fairbanks, and they started in 2011 and are located off Fox Road, off of Pegger, I believe. So Hoodoo, their statement is, Hoodoo Brewing Company is a culmination of a journey into the world of beer. And so their brews pretty much are a reflection of that journey. So fresh, well-made craft beer that is served in the heart of Alaska. It's funny because when we started this project, I have my best friend who lives in Germany, and she's actually heard of Hoodoo. So their marketing has already actually started, which I think is actually really awesome. So next we're going to do the German operator. So a German operator is pretty much one who assists tourists and their travel needs and make sure that they get the trip of a lifetime. So it's really similar to Princess Tours that is here in Alaska. They bring tourists around, give them the time of their life. I'm going to do the best to say this word. Kinestreisen is our first operator. Don't speak German. So they're the first operator, and they opened in 1909, and they specialize in Australia, New Zealand, South Africa, South America, Canada, and the US. They don't particularly have the target in the US, but they do a ski and board, which is mostly located in Colorado and Utah. So what it is they rent out skis, do ski lessons, snowboard lessons, that whole thing. They have food. I've actually been to one. It's actually pretty interesting. And they have people that work there that actually are like German people. So that was really interesting. So the next operator that we have is America Unlimited. They were founded in 2006. They're the leading provider in individual trips in the U.S. and especially Alaska. They are located out of Whittier, Alaska, and they do kayaking trips, which I took one this summer, and it was awesome. So Prince William Sound, got to see a bunch of animals. So definitely go down and do one of those. And their statement is that they want to give you the best trip that you've ever been on, and that it's one to remember. And that what they do too is they book things ahead of time for you. So let's say it rains outside for your camping trip and you don't decide to go camping, they have something totally different for you, and it's in the same budget that you already spent. So you don't have to pay extra to go on something different. And they have 40,000 visitors a month just online. So that's how many people go in and out of their business just through their internet. The next one that we have is SK Tourist, which means SK Tourism in English. They're all about the quality of their travel and the one to remember, just like all the other operators. They don't have low prices though, so you're going to be paying a lot for what you get. So kind of ends up being about the same. So this one's going to be a little bit more hard to market because people don't exactly go to them as much. Next thing that we have, so this in English means Fanization Wanderlust. I don't know how to say it, but they're a newer company. They're about 14 years old compared to the other ones, but they are the largest tour company. They promise a dream trip every single time, and what they do is they have specialists. These specialists, if you want to go climb Mount Everest, they have someone who goes with you. And it's all paid in the same amount of money that you spend. So anything you want to do, they have someone that goes with you. So what can we do? So obviously all these operators go off of buses, trains, planes, hotels, and resorts. So making sure that we make the right environment because we have alcohol in our company, we want to make sure that's going out to the right businesses instead of, oh, like there's kids around or whatever. You have to make sure you're marketing to the right people and make sure it's attractive. So for instance, they have a bus actually at their business here in Fairbanks. That's Hoodoo. It's a little red bus, and it's really cute. It's in the Golden Days Parade and whatnot. So if we had a bus like in Germany and it had that red and Hoodoo all over it, it's very attractive to people. So next thing I thought was really interesting, that they gave us stickers, and I actually put it on my water bottle, and people had never heard of Hoodoo, and even though they opened in 2011, it is very small, and so a lot of people actually started going there. A lot of my friends started hearing about it. So they could do that in Germany with t-shirts, water bottles, glasses, and then start to go on signs of transportation, like I said, buses and whatnot. And also I thought would be a cool idea would be ice cream. So Silver Gulch has an ice cream that they sell with Hot Licks, and so the Hot Licks ice cream actually tastes like the beer that Silver Gulch sells. So I figured that they could do that as well. So next we have Nolan talking about German tourists.
German tourists make up the second largest percentage of international visitors into Alaska besides Australian tourists. Approximately 80 to 100,000 German tourists visit Alaska every year. Fairbanks Convention and Visitors Bureau are in constant contact with German operators who track many visitors who reach Fairbanks while visiting Alaska. Hoodoo also has the ability to track numbers to see how many German tourists are visiting Fairbanks and find out where exactly they're traveling or where they're visiting. Hoodoo wants to track as many German tourists as possible, so having a good relationship with the German operators is key. It's like going into a bar and not knowing what kind of drink you want. The bartender saying that you should try a Hoodoo product instead of a Budweiser product. Staying in contact and maintaining a good relationship with the operators or distributors helps keep Hoodoo in the back of their minds when they're dealing with customers if they either just want a beer or destination for their trip in Fairbanks. The main goal is to get as many visitors to Fairbanks as possible, making Hoodoo a mandatory pit stop along their journey. The second wave of tourists that visit Alaska in wintertime are mainly independent travelers. These travelers prefer to go their own way and see everything Alaska has to offer, such as the Arctic Circle, Aurora Borealis, without being herded around in large group settings. German visitors would rather gain Alaskan experience through their own travels, such as dog mushing tours, the hot springs, or hiking trips, instead of the typical tour that everyone goes on. They want to be able to share their experience and tell their stories they have encountered, making the brewery a perfect pit stop to share and enjoy a premium product. Beer in Germany is a huge part of their culture. Everyone drinks beer in Germany. It's just become a part of their lifestyle. And this lifestyle has influenced the way that Hoodoo Brewery has brewed their beer and the whole process that goes into it. The brewing system is not a conventional American system. It is the same as the European and German style that they use when they brew their beer. American and German beers are very different in the fact that the way they taste and the way they're brewed, which is why Hoodoo is so unique. They brew a beer that isn't the typical Coors Light that we're accustomed to here in America. Instead, it brings the taste of Germany to Alaska that is brewed to perfection locally by a family-owned business. They take pride in brewing such a premium beer, which is why this brewery should be a for sure destination on all German tourists coming into Fairbanks. Now Benicia is going to show how to introduce why Hoodoo is a fun place for Germans to visit.
Okay, so what we wanted to do was show German tourists that Hoodoo Brewery is a fun and viable attraction. How we wanted to proceed with that is first by reaching out to Hoodoo's target market, which seems to be mostly German tourists. Next, we wanted to decide which type of marketing would best suit the needs of the company. We knew that undifferentiated marketing was probably not a smart option because that would mean treating all potential buyers and population market the same. With that in mind, we wanted to consider concentrating on micro-marketing, where Hoodoo would be targeting customers at a very narrow, more basic level. And with product relation segmentation, they could also focus on attributes people seek in a good or service with the company. One way to make a viable attraction, one way to make Hoodoo a viable attraction would be to partner with other name partners to work together so they can both benefit. Organizations such as the Evening Aurora Tour, Chino Hot Springs, and dog mushing companies would be some of those ideas that they could use. As we said before, like, beer is a huge part of German culture, and we know that Hoodoo wants to bring a little Germany into Alaska, but we also thought that it was important to keep in mind that tourists are visiting Alaska, not Germany, and we wanted to make sure that they can get that full Alaskan experience as well as have a little taste of home. Another example for a viable attraction would be to set up a brew off with other breweries in Alaska, such as breweries such as 49 State, Moose's 2, Silver Gulch, and Glacier Brew House. They could coordinate with other tour operators and showcase all the breweries. They would make German tourists the judges of the competition. The event would be held in the middle of the summer. That way, German tourists could attend it. Winners of the competition would be able to use their winnings as advertisements and have bragging rights and say, "Hey, we won the brew offs. Come drink our beer. It's good." Ultimately, building friendly competition with other breweries throughout Alaska. And now I'm going to turn it over to Matt, who's going to talk about how to get the FCBB to utilize them and benefit the business.
So first, I'm going to go over basically who the Fairbanks Convention Visitors Bureau is, and what they do and what they have to offer Hoodoo to make it a more viable business and to help them grow. So the Fairbanks Convention and Visitors Bureau has three main tools that helps them out. First is the representatives, then their extranet service, and then the local business network. The representatives are based in foreign countries like Australia, Germany, New Zealand. They communicate with Greg Allison, who's the local FCBB representative, who works hand in hand with Hoodoo. He sends them newsletter blasts and email updates going on about what's going on in Fairbanks with different businesses and how they're changing and what they have to offer to the operators. The representatives are super important because they're the ones that are actually selling the business to the operators in Germany. So that's the first one. The second one is the extranet service. It's similar to online dating, but for businesses. So basically the FCBB is going to help Hoodoo create a profile with a short description, like they're blonde, whatever. And then make them look attractive to their operators. The operators can go on and view their profile. They can also search. So operators in Germany who are like, hey, we need to have a brew on our stop in our package. We're having tourists request this. They can just search breweries and they'll come up with Silver Gulch, Hoodoo, 49th State, all the breweries around in Alaska, and they can choose which one will best fit their needs and set that up. Representatives will also load leads up onto the extranet service. So when they're talking to an operator in Germany, if they see somebody who seems interested but not quite sure, they can let Hoodoo know and they can contact them independently. That way they can market themselves to the operator. And then next, the third tool is going to be the local business network. Basically, it's an event support system. So they're going to be able to go and if they're going to create an event like the Beer Fest, if they need transportation or logistic needs or even catering services, they just contact FCBB and they'll help coordinate all that stuff so that it's not all on them because they are so busy. Even though they help coordinate everything, they do have to hash out the financials with each individual. FCBB is basically just there to introduce them and to help coordinate different events, like getting tables to the event. Next, I'm going to talk about opportunities. So the main opportunity for Hoodoo, like Nisa and Nolan were saying, Germans who come here in the wintertime like to go off and do their own thing. So partnering with a dog mushroom company like Pause for Adventure is an awesome opportunity for them because Germans are going to be attracted to this kind of tour operation. Pause for Adventure offers 1-hour trips, day trips, and overnight excursions. We thought that the Hoodoo would benefit with this either by making an account with them or by simply just driving their truck up and serving beer out of their truck, depending on how the legal issues are, with insurance and stuff. Basically, they can serve beer before and after. It helps German tourists mingle with each other. It bonds with the guide. They can just share experiences that make their real Alaska experience even better. That's what Hoodoo wants. They just want to spread the real Alaskan experience with their beer and having a good time with everybody else. And then for the next opportunity is going to be the Alaska Brew Off. This is just what we're calling it right now. Hoodoo can obviously call it whatever they want. But they would basically co-host or host a beer festival with local breweries like 49 State, Glacier Brew House, all of them. even maybe Alaskan Brewing Company, considering they are the Alaskan Brewing Company, they're really well known. They can help sponsor the event as well. The event would consist of entertainment, like bands, live bands, games, obviously beer tasting, and then beer judging. With the judging, there's two different types of judging that can occur. There's the formal beer judging, where they bring in actual brewmasters to judge the beer at an expert level, and then they all vote on it and see who has the expert beer's opinion. But the main one that we're going to be looking for, or we recommend having, is the non-formal, where everyone who attends the event is at the end when they leave, they're gonna vote for the best beer, and then we're gonna have the People's Choice Award. So basically, they will use that better in their marketing, and that's what they want to do. They want people to talk about their beer, be like, "Hey, have you tried Hoodoo yet? Because it's amazing." And that's the one I'm voted for. Who are you voting for? You know what I mean? And it just creates word of mouth very rapidly and a lot better. So obviously, an event like this is going to take a lot of planning. So step one is contacting the other breweries to see who's going to be participating in it. You need to know this well in advance, just to let FCBB know, because they need to have a commitment from the breweries. Another reason for doing this is that 90% of the German operators already have some kind of brew on their tour packages. So that means other breweries in the state are already working with German operators and can help coordinate and bring more tourists in, which is what we eventually want to do. We want it to be with a bunch of tour buses, Germans getting dropped off, everybody's partying together and having a good time. And then the next thing they need to do is set dates. They need to have breweries committed, because before FCBB can even start sending that to their representatives, they need to know exactly what's going on. And then from there, they can use the FCBB tools like the extranet to market themselves to the German operators and just send out everything they can. And then also using the local network to basically set the event up and get everything going with their tables and everything. Obviously, within the first year, some operators are going to be a little hesitant because they're going to want to set up a tour package that's ongoing. They can have it every year. They can offer it to their customers. They're not going to make one package individually, so they need to make sure that it's going to be an ongoing possibility. So the first year is going to be a little bit low. Most of the attendance on the first year is probably just going to be local Fairbanks people, but you know what, we all love beer anyway, so why not? And then eventually it can grow into something like this. This is from Maryland, the Ospest Oktoberfest. It's a huge event that happens, and it's all local Maryland breweries. That's eventually what we want to do, and have our own Oktoberfest straight in Fairbanks, Alaska in the summertime. So, is there any questions?
If you guys did an event like that, how would you guys do the money-wise situation for the event? Like, would people pay to get in and get like